Have you ever felt that sick feeling in your stomach when you know she's pulling away? When her text gets shorter? When her tone changes? When the warmth that used to be there has turned cold? You ask yourself, what did I do wrong? Why doesn't she look at me the way she used to? And in that moment, it feels like your entire world is crumbling, because deep down, you sense the truth. She's losing interest. And what do most men do when they feel that shift? They panic. They send another text. They explain themselves. They beg for a second chance, thinking if they just try harder, if they just give more, she'll come back. But instead of pulling her closer, every desperate move pushes her further away. The very actions you believe will save the relationship are the ones that kill it completely. I know how it feels. That mix of fear and helplessness, that voice in your head saying, if I don't do something now, I'll lose her forever. But here's the truth. The fastest way to lose a woman's respect is to lose your own self-respect first. And that's exactly what happens when you make these 5 mistakes. In this video, I'm going to expose those mistakes. The 5 things you must never do when a woman starts losing interest. Because once you understand them, you'll stop sabotaging yourself. You'll stop handing away your power. And for the first time, you'll realize that keeping her respect starts with one thing: refusing to betray yourself. When a woman begins to lose interest, most men do the very things that guarantee she never comes back. They panic, they double text, they beg for attention, thinking if they just do more, she'll feel the same way again. But here's the harsh truth. Attraction doesn't die overnight. It dies because a man slowly trades his respect for desperation. The first mistake you must never do is this: never beg for her attention. Picture this: she hasn't replied in hours. Your chest feels tight. Your mind starts racing. You think, if I just reach out again, maybe she'll answer. So you type one message, then another, then a string of them. You call, you wait. You stare at the screen, praying for her name to light it up. But with every attempt, you push her further away. To her, it doesn't feel like love. It feels like pressure. It feels like you are trying to hold her hostage with your neediness. And women do not respect men who beg. Here's the psychological truth. When you beg, you signal that you have nothing else going on in your world. You show that her attention is oxygen to you. And if her presence is the only thing keeping you alive, she knows she can walk away at any time. That is not attraction. That is dependence. So what should you do instead? Breathe. Sit with the silence. Let her have the space she's creating. If she's truly interested, she will return. And if she doesn't, your silence will reveal the truth you've been afraid to face. She was already gone. But at least you will have kept your dignity intact. And here's the second mistake: never over-explain yourself. Men think if they can just clarify what they meant, if they can just pour out their heart and explain their feelings, she'll understand and fall back in love. But attraction doesn't work like that. Words don't fix lost desire. You cannot logic a woman into wanting you again. In fact, the more you explain, the more you look weak. She doesn't want your essays. She wants your strength. She wants your grounded presence. Imagine this scene. She says she needs space. Instead of respecting it, you write her a long message, paragraphs about how much she means to you, how you'll change, how you didn't mean to upset her. You think she'll admire your vulnerability. Instead, she feels suffocated. She feels like she's drowning in your words. And the more you explain, the less she listens. Because here's the truth. Women are not drawn back by explanations. They are drawn back by the quiet confidence of a man who does not crumble when she pulls away. And if you think begging and over-explaining are bad, wait until you hear the third mistake. It's the one almost every man makes when he feels her slipping away. The third mistake men make when a woman's interest fades is this: never try to buy her love back. It's one of the most common yet most destructive moves. She pulls away and you think, maybe if I buy her flowers, Maybe if I take her to dinner. Maybe if I shower her with gifts, she'll remember how much I care. But here's the brutal truth. Love cannot be purchased, and attraction cannot be bribed. When a woman has begun to check out emotionally, no material thing will reignite what she no longer feels. Picture this. A man notices his girlfriend has grown cold. She doesn't laugh at his jokes the way she used to. She doesn't initiate conversations anymore. Instead of addressing the real issue, the loss of polarity, the loss of respect, he rushes to the store. He buys her jewelry, plans a surprise trip, empties his wallet trying to win her back. For a moment, she smiles. She thanks him, but deep inside, nothing changes because gifts don't erase the truth. She no longer feels the spark. And worse, she now sees him as desperate, as a man who is trying to buy what he can't earn. The psychology here is simple. Desire is emotional, not transactional. A woman doesn't fall back in love because you spent money. She falls back in love because she feels respect for the man you are. And no amount of flowers can replace the masculine grounding she craves. When you throw money at her disinterest, you don't look generous, you look powerless. Now let's talk about the fourth mistake. Never argue or plead when she grows distant. Men believe if they can just reason with her, if they can argue enough, she'll suddenly see the light and come back. But the harder you push, the further she withdraws. Why? Because attraction is not logical, it's emotional. You can't argue someone into desire. Think of this scene. She tells you she doesn't feel the same anymore. You panic. You argue. How can you say that after everything I've done for you? Don't you remember all the good times we had? Don't you see how much I love you? You're pleading, raising your voice, trying to force her to care again. But every word pushes her further. She doesn't hear your logic. She feels your desperation. And the more desperate you sound, the colder she becomes. Here's the truth. When a woman says she's losing interest, no argument in the world can flip her emotions. You cannot plead your way back into her heart. All pleading does is strip away the last shred of respect she had for you. Because respect is built in silence and strength, in the ability to walk away when you're no longer valued. So remember this, never beg, never over-explain, never try to buy her love, and never plead your way back. But there's still one mistake left, the most fatal one of all. It's the mistake that destroys not only her attraction, but your entire identity as a man. And that's what we'll uncover next. The fifth and final mistake men make when a woman starts to lose interest is the one that destroys them completely. Never abandon your mission. This is the most tragic error of all, because it doesn't just cost you her respect, it costs you yourself. Here's how it happens. A man meets a woman, and suddenly she becomes his whole world. His goals fade into the background, his hobbies disappear, his friends don't see him anymore. His mission, the thing that once made him magnetic, is replaced by one obsession: keeping her. And at first, she might like the attention. She might feel special, but soon something shifts. She begins to sense that she's become the center of his universe. And instead of feeling admiration, she feels pressure. Instead of respect, she feels weight. Because deep down, no woman wants to be the reason a man abandons his own life. Think about it. The very qualities that drew her to you, your drive, your focus, your passion, are the ones you sacrifice the moment you place her above your mission. And once they're gone, she looks at you differently. You're no longer the man she respected. You're no longer the man she chased. You've become a man who orbits her, waiting for direction, begging for scraps of attention. And when that happens, the attraction doesn't just fade, it dies. The psychology is simple. Women are drawn to men who are anchored in something greater than them. They want to feel your love, but they also want to feel your strength. They want to know that even if they walk away, you will not collapse, that you will keep building, keep climbing, keep pursuing the life you were meant to live. Because a man who has a mission is a man she must respect, but a man who abandons that mission, he is already lost. So here's the truth you must burn into your mind. Never beg, never over-explain, never try to buy her love, never argue or plead, and never abandon your mission. If she is losing interest, do not throw away your dignity in a desperate attempt to hold her. Stand firm, stay grounded, let her go if she must, because the man who refuses to betray himself will never truly be abandoned. And when you live this way, something remarkable happens. Sometimes she comes back because the silence, the strength, the self-possession draws her closer. And sometimes she leaves for good. But either way, you win because you didn't lose yourself trying to keep her. You didn't hand over your worth in exchange for fleeting affection. You stood as a man. So the next time you feel her interest slipping, remember this. The greatest mistake isn't losing her. The greatest mistake is losing yourself. And the moment you stop making these 5 mistakes is the moment you reclaim the power that was always yours. Because respect doesn't begin with her. Respect begins with you. When a woman begins to lose interest, the temptation is always the same. Panic, chase, beg, explain, fight, and cling to her as if your entire existence depends on it. That's what most men do. And that's why most men lose both the woman and themselves in the process. But you are not here to be most men. You're here to become the kind of man who refuses to trade dignity for desperation. Because at the end of the day, attraction is not kept alive by your constant pursuit. It is kept alive by the strength you carry when you can let go. By the silence you hold when everything in you wants to beg. By the mission you refuse to abandon, even when your heart is breaking. So remember this truth. You cannot control whether she stays or goes. You cannot force her to love you. But you can control whether you respect yourself. And the moment you choose that respect over her approval, you win, even if she walks away. Especially if she walks away, because the man who never loses himself is the man who can never truly be left behind.